All right, so we have officially kind of started moving our way north, and we're visiting states that we've never been to yet. We're kind of getting those central states that everyone kind of loops around, including us, but not anymore. So the first state that falls into that category is Oklahoma. So we are currently in the OKC.
Yeah,
Do
Oklahoma City.
Do they say that? I'm not quite sure. But we are doing a speed round of these states just because that's how we scheduled it. That's how we wanted to see it, and we wanted adventure after adventure. So our first adventure day here is just exploring the downtown area of Oklahoma City. And so far, just from driving through to find our parking spot, we are really liking it. It's a very cute downtown area, well maintained, clean. So we love to see that in a downtown.
Yeah, lots of cool places to go.
Yes.
Outdoor eating and drinking, which I hope we get to explore more later.
Yes. So the first stop here is Factory Obscura. So we saw this place and we just kind of knew we had to come because it looked...
Yeah, felt like...
It felt...
Yeah, like it gave us the same vibe as...
Meow Wolf.
Yeah.
In New Mexico.
Right, which we really liked.
Yeah, we did. We liked Meow Wolf a lot. So we figured this is kind of the same experience, or we're assuming from the pictures and what we read online, it looks like the same kind of just like funky artwork.
Experiential.
Yeah, you're sensing it with multiple senses here, or experiencing it with multiple senses. So yeah, we kind of like that stuff. So we're gonna head in and see what this one's all about. So what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I liked it. It was a lot of fun. It was definitely different than Meow Wolf, but
yes. But along the same vein.
Yeah, absolutely. The same type of it's kind of like the New Age museum art experience, which I really like.
Yes. So we also realized as we got in there and they were explaining a few things that this is Factory Obscura, that's the name of it, and I think they change out the inside occasionally.
They'll have new ones or something.
Right.
Yeah.
So the one we saw was specifically called Mixtape, and the inspiration behind it is there was 30 artists that wanted to evoke the feeling of that you get when you give or receive a mixtape. That was fun. I liked that aspect of it. No, we weren't in there as long as I thought we would be. We really stretched it, and we were in there for 40 minutes.
Yeah, and it is smaller than Meow Wolf. I think that's why we kind of we didn't expect to be in Meow Wolf for that long, and so we kind of gave ourselves extra time here. Mm-hmm. But it's just a smaller building and a smaller art exhibit, and so I would say 30 to 45 minutes
is plenty.
Is plenty. Also, we were the second people in, and so we generally like that, especially at these like experiential museum art things, to get in early. It's a tip we learned at Meow Wolf accidentally, and I would say
it applies.
It applies here as well.
We kind of like it when there's not as many people here, so definitely I would suggest going midweek and trying to be the first people here, and they open at 11, so that's not hard to do.
If we could do it,
you
can.
Exactly. All right, so we did kind of work up an appetite here. We started looking up breweries, and we're gonna go hunt down some lunch.
Definitely a little thirsty.
A little thirsty. Okay, we've made it to Prairie Artisan Ales, and we've already had a couple samples here, and I think it's safe to say that this has now moved up to my #1 brewery. And I feel like that's a big deal because the Bathhouse Brewing Co., or is it just Bathhouse Brewing? I don't know. Anyway, the one in Hot Springs, Arkansas, that's in the national park, has been my #1 for like 2 years. So the first one that I tried that definitely caught my eye was Spicy Pickle Monster. I am gonna admit something to you here that I don't think I've admitted on camera before. I am one of those weirdos that drinks the pickle juice out of the pickle jar. So this Spicy Pickle Monster was literally like a toned down version of pickle juice and alcoholic. So it was right up my alley. I actually really liked this beer. So then the second beer I tried that I have to admit was very good, it was called Thai Delight, and the description of this one is mango sticky rice inspired sour ale made with mango, flaked rice, and coconut cream. So this definitely tasted like a Thai inspired drink. It was very good, and it was so thick. So I don't know if I want to admit all of the other beers that I've tasted. Those are just my top 2. And also, if you do come here, by the time you get here, there might be a whole different menu or different flavors. So they do rotate out this menu a lot, which is exciting. I love a brewery that has the flexibility to try new things and be experimental in their brewing. And they do have, I have to admit, probably over half of this menu are sours. And I think that's why this shot up to #1 for me, because I am a big sour fan. I am a big fruity sour fan too, and half these beers fit that bill, so I'm very into it. All right, well, if you couldn't tell, I am definitely feeling the beers just a little bit, so I'm gonna let Jason tell you about his beers now.
This brewery for me is absolutely delicious. I don't know if I have a top brewery that we've been to. There's just so many good beers out there, and they're all so different and have their own characteristics that it's really hard for me to put them into a best personally. But as far as beers go, I am not a sour fan, and so half this menu immediately turned me off. But testing that like Thai Delight and some of these, they're not heavily sour like most sours are. And so it was good. I'm not a pickle fan, so that beer was disgusting. To me, all of the IPAs I tried, both the West Coast IPAs and the hazy IPAs, were good. And I'm not a huge IPA fan, but the thing I like about these is they're a little bit more mild, and they're not the kind of IPAs that try to like melt the enamel off your teeth. The only drink that I've gotten 2 of so far is this, and it's called a Fruitzer, and it's not actually a beer. It is listed as a smoothie seltzer with blueberry, strawberry, banana, blood orange, and vanilla soft serve, and it's 5% alcohol, and it is an excellent breakfast beer. But once we finish this, I think we're gonna be done with breakfast, and it'll be time to go get some lunch.
All right, so we just left a place called The Parlor, which was actually 2 bars and 7, I guess, restaurants.
They called them culinary experiences.
Yes.
I would have to agree with that.
You had a culinary experience?
I think so. It's not a normal restaurant.
Well, look, I want to give the description like it's a food court, but that's really...
It's more than that.
Yes.
It's a culinary experience.
Sure. But they are like little...
food court-esque
Yes, you walk up to the window of the place that you want to eat at and you order there, and then they text you when it's ready. It looks like a fun place to hang out for the locals. Of just, if you want food, get food. If you want a drink, get a drink.
Yeah.
And then they have like the community areas where you go sit and lounge. So the parlor is what it's called. What was the place called that we ate at?
Mob Grill.
Mob Grill. So
all right, let's
definitely recommend it. And we are now
on our way to what probably most people associate Oklahoma City with, which is the Oklahoma City Memorial from the bombing that took place in, I think, 95.
Yes.
We were young in 95, so we didn't...
We were 7.
Yeah, so we didn't really like fully understand it, but we did watch Oklahoma City on Amazon Prime, which is a PBS kind of like documentary going over everything, so we could conceptualize it. In like, you know, watching it now as adults, I guess it hits a whole different way than it did before when we were
right. Can't really
7.
understand that kind of stuff when you're 7.
No, and so yeah, so we're heading there now, and we will be there very shortly, and we'll show that to you.
Second Tuesday of every month. So you'll be advised of that. With regard to this proceeding, basically there are 4 elements that I have to receive information regarding.
Everybody, let's get out of here. Now.
Left the Memorial Museum, and that was heavy.
Yeah, it plucks at the heartstrings a lot.
I know. I always try and prepare myself when we go into basically any memorial type of museum that I'm most likely gonna cry, and there were a couple times I felt it welling up, but then almost near the end, they have a room with a photo of every person that died and a box that I'm assuming their family member was able to put something in.
It said that. It said their family got to choose what's in their box.
See, I didn't even make it to the plaque before I started crying. Like, that room was heartbreaking. It was a very heavy museum, but I think very important to the history of Oklahoma, and gave us just a little bit more insight to this city and what they're made of, and stuff, and how they responded to something like that. What was the name of the documentary we watched?
Oklahoma City.
Oh, that's what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's on Amazon Prime. It's not included with your Prime membership. I think it was like $3 though. To rent it. And I think it is a must watch before coming. It just kind of helps you flesh everything out.
Watching it beforehand gave us a better insight as to who did this.
Yeah, a little bit more glue to hold it all together.
Yeah, so that's where we're at. We're trying to lighten the mood here a little bit within ourselves. When you leave the museum, you have this beautiful park area, and then even behind that, that's where we are now, actually. This park, which was the front of the original building, is very calming and peaceful and relaxing, and surprisingly, nobody is up here.
Yeah.
Not another person, which was shocking. So we kind of walked around here, kind of tried to figure out what we wanted to do with the rest of our afternoon.
And we looked, someone had emailed us because we sent out a newsletter, and if you're not part of our newsletter crew, head to getawaycouple.com/join the gang. Ray will put it down here. You can sign up for our newsletter, and we posted that we were here today, and so they mentioned a couple things that they wanted to do in the city, and one was something we hadn't heard about, and so we looked it up, and it's called Bricktown
Water
taxi, and it's like this little canal area that we didn't even know existed here, and so it's a 17-mile walk, and we were looking up heading over there, but then Google showed us that it is a 7-minute lime scooter. I think we're going to take one of these electric scooters since we love them so much, and head over to the water taxi.
So we just got off the Brick City water taxi.
Yep.
And
it's not a taxi in normal taxi terminology.
Well, yeah,
it's a
get on
tour.
and get off at the same place.
More like Bricktown water boat tour.
Yeah. It was fun. And a good way to like understand the history of Oklahoma City for sure. We got a lot more education, I think, about the town, this area.
The land grab, boomer, sooner.
Boomer, sooner thing. Yeah, that's true. We learned about that. And then, she didn't come right out and say this, but this is an assumption on my part. The oldest building, the sidewalk, is talking to us. Okay, we're back. I don't remember exactly what we were saying. Oh yeah, so we learned about the boomer, sooner terms.
What they mean, why the college teams were called that, and all that jazz.
Yes.
And it's about the Oklahoma land grab, if we didn't say that already.
I don't think we did. And then we also learned, oh, this is what I was saying. I think this is an assumption on my part, but I think it's correct. The oldest building here, when they were looking to revive the town, the oldest building in this area was an all brick building, and they decided to model this area after that. So some of the buildings were still here, they just updated, and then they built completely new buildings, but they made them all look very similar to the original building that was here, which was an all brick building. So I'm assuming that is why it's called Bricktown. It does make the area very unique and hip. Cool and hip. Yeah, exactly.
So definitely visit Bricktown if you come to the OKC.
Yes, it's so funny because this wasn't on our radar at all, and when we were looking up things to do around here, Bricktown never even showed up. So I'm very thankful we got that email.
Yeah.
I think that might be all the exploring we have planned. We might go out tomorrow, we might not. It's really on the fence. But it is time to get home to Carmen because it has been a long day for us here. So we're actually gonna hop on some Lime scooters again and take them all the way back to where we parked our truck. And we'll see you soon, later, whatever. All right, so we didn't go out for a second day exploring. We decided to work. I really enjoyed myself in Oklahoma City. Not that I didn't think I would, I just didn't have any expectations. If you're a newbie, which there's so many newbies on the road nowadays, if you're a newbie, I would set expectations low or non-existent, because I feel like the places that we've enjoyed so much more have been the places that we don't have expectations.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the fun part is the exploring part, right? So maybe choose one or two areas that you want to go visit in a town, kind of like we did, and then go from there.
Yeah.
So.
And those scooters, like, we typically would have brought our e-bikes now. We haven't been on those scooters in a very long time, but cities that have those Lime scooters, or I think they're also called, another brand is Bird, those are so fun, and they're such an easy way to get around for a really low cost.
Yeah.
So you might be wondering, where are we staying when we're here? And we wanted to show you that. So we are actually at the Oklahoma City Fairgrounds, and our other neighbor just left, but this place has been packed the whole weekend. This is a really good location in our opinion, because it was about 6 miles from the downtown area that we checked out the other day.
Yeah, absolutely. First come, first serve, which was good for us because we were showing up like midweek, and so we didn't have any concerns really. And we called ahead anyway to ask what kind of shows were going on.
Right.
But there are 3 campgrounds here. We chose the newest because it had all pavement, and that's what we were looking for. Easy in, easy out.
Yes.
But overall, there are tons of other campgrounds around here, but they're all, you're trying to get away from the city. Because we came here to explore the city, this one was prime location for exploring.
So it has about 3 rows of RVs. They're all back-end sites. As Jason said, they're all first come, first serve. And then they have this grass around the entire perimeter. And we've actually been going outside the fence at the end here and taking Carmen on longer walks. So it's worked out great for us. If you don't like noise, I definitely don't recommend it, because there's a highway right there and a train right there. And we have heard the occasional plane as well. So, and you're so close to your neighbors. But again, we're fine with it. Yeah. So we also got a package in the mail that we're pretty excited about, and they are new snap pads. So we did want to thank SnapPad for sending those to us. We really, really appreciate it. If you missed our video where our jacks dropped during travel day and our SnapPad got torn to shreds, which was actually a good thing because it protected our jack. I'll link that up here. But SnapPad saw that video and said, we're gonna be sending you some new pads since we got a completely new hydraulic system on our rig.
Yeah, and so we haven't had a jack lower since.
Yeah, so SnapPad did ask us, we actually have a really good working relationship with them still, so they said, when you get your pads, could you clarify something for the viewers? And that is that they started using a new crumb mixture. This is all 100% recycled tire. People have been writing into them or emailing them and saying that they think because of the new crumb mixture it looks slightly different than the older pads, and so people are now assuming they're made in China or that they're lower quality. And so SnapPad asked us to clarify that that is not true. They are still made in the US. And I do know that for a fact, and they are actually stronger because of that new crumb mixture, and they will probably last even longer.
Glad to hear that they'll last even longer than the 4 years that we had ours.
Yeah.
Which only lasted that long because they were scraping on the ground going 60 miles an hour.
Yes. So since we are in a paved lot right now, we are going to quickly throw these back on our jacks before we head out, because if you do, when you install them, you do want to try and be on cement or gravel or any other like harder surface. We definitely don't recommend putting these in dirt and sand or mud, just because they'll be harder to get on, A, and then B, I personally don't want that dirt in between my jack and the pad. Granted, they do have this hole for water to like escape out of, but yeah, so we actually cleaned our jacks off because our last campground was muddy. And we are gonna throw these on before we hit the road and show you how easy it is. All right, so I forgot to mention that dish soap is your friend when installing snap pads. You're gonna wanna put it around the entire snap pad rim and then even around your jack rim. Don't feel stingy on the soap. And then this is also easier with 2 people, one at the control panel lowering the jacks, one with the snap pad and the jack, lining it up just perfectly so it snaps right in. So let's get started. And we're off to our next destination, which I'm pretty excited about. And I just saw the bananas in the viewfinder. We don't eat this many bananas on our trip, guys. It's a very weird thing I do. If we have bananas, I actually try and bring them in the truck because they're just so sensitive that even with our independent suspension, they'll still get a little bruised, or like we have a banana hook, so they kind of like swing around. And anyway, I just wanted to explain the weird bananas in the background. Yeah, so are you excited for our next state?
Yeah.
Which is?
Missouri.
I have zero expectations for Missouri as well, so I think we're gonna have a good time because of that. We will be in St. Louis for Jason's birthday, so definitely have already started booking some pretty fun stuff that we're excited to share with you. So don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss our future adventures and all the essential states. And yeah, I messed up my little outro thing, so I'm just gonna start over because I truly can't say it if I don't say it in order. So don't forget to like this video and subscribe to join our Getaway gang. We'll see you next time. Bye guys. We've made it to Prairie Artisan.
Artisan.
Okay, we've made it to Prairie Artisan Ales. All right, so we've made it to Prairie Artisan Ales, and did I say it wrong?
No.
Why'd you make that face? There's that train. There's a little twist in there. How was that experience?
Not great.